Welcome inside Half Parker Arena in Powell River. I'm Justice Doucette. Game 3 of the Island Division semifinals between the Caps and Kings. Cowichan leading this best-of-7 series by a count of 2-0 with a 6-3 win on Friday night and then a 7-6 overtime win on Saturday night, as the scene has now shifted here to Powell River for games 3 and 4 tonight and tomorrow. It's the Capitals in the Road Reds with blue and white trim, attacking from right to left on your radio dial in this first period. The Kings in the home whites with black, green, and yellow from left to right here in this first period. Brock Foss against Cote at center ice, and game 3 is underway as Cowichan wins the draw. Near side, Webster will shoot it in and take a hit from Moran as it's rung to the far side. Now back of the goal for Gauthier in behind the Kings net. Near side corner, back to the point for Webster. Long shot into the far corner. Brady Lynn wrapped up by Finley. Gauthier far point for Barrett. Long shot, tipped just wide of the goal in front of the net. Riley Moran near side lifts it down the ice. Nolan Barrett retreating back into his own zone, picks up the bouncing puck, fires it off the far boards. It's off the wall and just misses the goal wide. So it's going to be an icing call against the Capitals exactly 30 seconds into the hockey game. We'll talk about the matchup a lot over the course of this game, but right now the Kings go with Rolison, Leduc, and Abral against the unit of Cote, Gauthier, and Lynn after the icing call. Far side draw in the Cowichan zone, and Rolison's going to be waved out of the circle. It will be Leduc to come in and take it. And it's pitched into the far side corner. Clark Webster up the boards. Lynn got it to the line but couldn't get it out. Garrett with a long shot. It's sticked away by Bourguil. Back of the net now for Devin Leduc. Trying to center. Broken up by the stick of Bourguil, and Olivier Gauthier takes over. Looking through the middle. Lynn will tip it in, but he's shy of center, and it's going to be another icing call against Cowichan as Lynn was maybe 5 to 10 feet short of the red line at center ice. He did get a stick on it, but didn't get the benefit of the doubt from the officials with 19:13 remaining first period. So Cowichan not allowed to change. They were about halfway through one, and everyone has to be brought back on as Cote will face off again against Rolison. Face-off gets caught in the skates of the two centermen, and then a winger coming in as well. Lynn gets it to the line. Rolison keeps it in, and that's batted down low by Michael Abgral. Barrett drops it off into the near corner. Webster rings it around for Olivier Gauthier, who had it bounce past him, but it got past Pennington as well, and icing is waved off as Pennington let it go. Played into the far corner now for P.J. Garrett, up the far wall. Abgral got it to the line, then lost it. Trying to cut in front was McIntyre. Krasa got pulled down towards the point. Shorney keeps it in. Far corner, Krasa bats it to the near corner for Luke Wilson. 4 assists so far in the playoffs for Wilson. Drops it off for Krasa. Krasa drops it off again, and there's a penalty coming up against the Capitals, I believe. And it is going to be a tripping penalty against Luke Wilson. I didn't see the play in the corner. It's going to be a 4-minute penalty as well. Not exactly sure what the call is here, but the Kings, minute 26 seconds into the game, will get a 4-minute man advantage. Cowichan had the puck down in the near side corner of the Kings zone. Must have been a picked play set, but not often you see the 4-minute call. I believe it's a slew foot against Wilson, so the Kings with a huge chance here early on in the game. Right off the draw, Jack Long walks into a slap shot. That's swallowed up by Zach Bourguil to our right. So the Kings with a glorious early chance here with a 4-minute double minor power play. Powell River is 5 for 11 on the play in the power play in the series. A video game-like number here through the first 2 games. Webster tied up by Schmunk. Glazeman digs it free. It's a 4-minute slew footing call against Wilson. Moran near point. Schmunk in the middle. Now Long. Far point up top for Rolison. Rolison shoots and it went wide and then kicked off the near corner boards and all the way back into the Powell River zone. Jack Long will go back. Cowichan will take the opportunity to change. It's Long, Moran, Rolison, Schmunk, and Glazeman as the stretch feed finds Glazeman looking in the middle, and a good stick by Ferguson to come back and take away that centering feed that might have sent Brett Rolison in all by himself. Now back in the near corner of the Kings zone, Jack Long being forechecked on. McIntyre steals it for the Caps, pokes it into the corner, now takes it away from Rolison. It's quickly double teamed and the Kings have it right back. Rolison up the far side, boards for Badal over center into the Cowichan zone. Here's Badal, sharp angle shot. He put it off the side of the goal, got his own rebound though. Near side up top, drops it down low on the cycle for Glazeman. 3 minutes to go in the power play, and his pass towards the far point hops away from Ben Wozni, and it's out to neutral ice. Wozni has to retreat back into his own zone. A little more than 2.5 minutes gone here, first period. Kings on a double minor power play after Luke Wilson was given a slew footing penalty. Near side corner, tracked down by Cowichan. Boucher unable to get a stick on it, and now the Kings dig it free. Side of the goal, Abgral near point. Wozni fakes across the ice. Pennington shoots, it was partially blocked, and now Gauthier finds it as it bounced away from Abgral. He attacks one-on-one, doesn't see any support coming in, will steer it in deep from the Kings' blue line. Collected by Wozni on the handoff from Kral. Looking right through the middle, Abgral steps into the Cowichan zone, dropped Pete Pennington. His pass in the middle was partially broken up, but the Kings maintain possession for the moment. Micro Giannakis trying to spin it up the wall, had it blocked. Now he jabs it towards the point, kept alive by Wozni. 2-on-1 down low, Leduc shoots, and it's off the shoulder of Borgil and out of play. And it's going to be a far side face-off in the Cowichan zone with 1:56 remaining in the penalty against Wilson. So now into the second half of this double minor Kings man advantage. Kings win the face-off, go back to that top unit. Rollison walking down the far side boards. He moves in, he shoots, bobbled by Borgil. Loose in front for Schmunk, he got tied up. And now McIntyre couldn't get his stick free. Great tie up in front of the net, and would have been a hand pass if anyone other than Schmunk touched it. Lundy cutting towards the middle, had it taken away. Moran steers it back into the far side for Rollison. Now Jack Long skating out of his own zone, 90 seconds to go in the man advantage. He'll drop it off in the middle for Riley Moran. Moran scored in game one of this series to put the Kings up 2-1. He now takes it in behind the Cowichan goal, pinned by Clark Webster. Webster works it free, got it to the line and off the skates of Jack Long as it caroms out to center. Long will retreat back into his own zone, completely restart the breakout as he skates from out from behind his own net. Long with speed towards the far side, gets towards center, drops it off for Rollison. Rollison with lots of speed over the Cowichan line, dumps it in deep, gets to it first in the far corner. Engaged by Clark Webster, Rollison digs it free near corner. Walking up the boards towards the near side point. Now far side, he'll fire it across the ice for Long, able to keep it on side, and it's played into the far corner. Webster cut it off, but lost it to Glazeman. Glazeman back of the goal, trying to reverse the centering feed, got tied up. Maintains possession, trying to center, picked off by Gauthier, and he'll slap it all the way down the ice. 30 seconds remain in the penalty against Wilson as we cross over the 5-minute mark of this first period. Ben Wozni through the middle, over center with plenty of speed into the Cowichan zone. Far side, Pennington shoots it off the end boards into the near corner for Badal. Badal ringing it around, cut off by Micro Giannakis, and his ring around is all the way down the ice with just 10 seconds remaining in the penalty against Luke Wilson, who stands up to the far side. Wozni across the ice near side for Badal, looking through the middle. Here's Krogfoss, gets past Micro Giannakis, moves in, he shoots, it was blocked by Boucher. Great block going down to his knees to get in front of it on what could have been a 3-on-1. Back to even strength. Wilson couldn't track down the ring around. Finley shoots it back in where it's blocked away by Borgil. Back to 5-on-5. Near side, it's collected by Boucher, firing across the ice. Krasa tipped it out of the reach of McIntyre, who jabbed it back into the skates of Krasa. Near side, and Cowichan is offside at the line as Krasa took an extra stride to try and gather the puck there, and Wilson was caught a step ahead of the play on the far side. So 14:09 remain first period. Scoreless after Cowichan kills off a 4-minute power play just over 90 seconds into the game. Now get back to their 5-on-5 lines with John Lundy, Zach Brooks, and Primo Self facing off against the unit of Krogfoss, McKay, and Miller. Miller dumps it off into the middle for McKay over the Cowichan line. Long shot, sticked away by Borgil, and the rebound bounces off the end glass, high into the air, and he catches it at the side of his own net to stop play with exactly 6 minutes gone in this first period. I'm Justice Doucette. Thanks for spending some time with us on this Tuesday night. Cowichan leading the Island Division semifinals, 2-0 after a pair of wins on home ice on the weekend, 6-3 on Friday, 7-6 in overtime on Saturday. Kings win the draw, but it is out of the reach of Long, and it forces him all the way back into his own end. Being forechecked by Primo Self, who had a hat trick in the Saturday night game, his first BCHL hat trick. Near side, Long works it into the Cowichan zone. walking down the near side boards, taken into the corner. Now a sharp angle shot from McKay goes wide of the goal and kicks away from Self on the far side after it hits off a stanchion. Fired off the far boards by Garrett, cut off by Lundy. Lundy down the far boards, cycles it for Self. Midpoint Garrett, long shot. Rather, Barrett with a long shot where it's swallowed up by Krall to make his first save. Some pushing and shoving in front between Jack Long and Zach Brooks. Brooks had a huge goal in game one. He took a 4-minute penalty with about 9 minutes to go in the third period when Cowichan was leading 4-3. The Caps were able to kill it, and after Brooks came out of the box about a minute later, he scored on a breakaway to seal the game. Cote, Lynn, and Gauthier, the unit to the far side of the ice in the Kings zone. Rollison will take the draw for Powell River. Tie up along the far side. Gauthier walking down the boards, trying to get around Garrett. Looked to power move it towards the goal, and he got tied up. Lynn, midpoint, Boucher, one-timer tipped. It's into the skates of Gauthier as it never made it to Krall and changed direction right in front of him. Dumped in on the far side by Abgral. Boucher and Leduc engaged in the corner. Microgiannakis up the far boards. Lynn had it taken away, now chops it into the air. Kings will keep it alive as Abgral flips it back into the near corner. Boucher takes a hit from Leduc. Now played into the middle for Cruz Cote. Up the far side boards, Brady Lynn. Lynn trying to cue it into the middle. It goes off a stick, and Krall shoots it up the far boards. Lynn losing his footing, tried to play it back to the line, but it bounced away from Microgiannakis, and it's all the way back into the Cowichan zone where Borgil will take it in behind the net. Boucher, far side for Microgiannakis. Fires a wrist shot up the middle. It's past everybody, and this will be an icing call as Curran is able to get back ahead of Howie. Microgiannakis thought it might have been tipped at center ice. Didn't really look like it, but it came off his stick weirdly, and with 12:34 remaining first period, the draw comes back into the Capitals zone. Glazeman with Miller and Schmunk to face off on the near side of the ice in the Cowichan zone. McIntyre out there for Cowichan. Kings win the draw, but then it hit Miller, who had fell down to the ice, and Johnny Howie will play it all the way down. This is not enough for icing, as Cowichan has their fourth line here with McIntyre, Howie, and Wang out against the top line for Powell River. So this will be an interesting matchup to watch. It's deep in the far corner of the Kings zone right now with 12:10 remaining first period as Howie and McIntyre try to dig it free. Puck not moving, and still no whistle. As finally now the Kings pull it free. Rowan Miller up the near side for Ethan Schmunk. Schmunk up the near side boards towards center, dumps it in. Glazeman chasing after it, trying to tie up in the near side corner. Austin Chorney has it for the Caps. Brings it around towards the far side for David Wang. Wang circles back into his own zone, cutting towards the middle. Leaves it now for Chorney. Chorney near side corner for Ferguson. He'll skate out of his own zone, fired across the ice for John Lundy. Lundy cutting towards the middle, tried to step into a shot, got tied up by Finley, and it ends up in the far corner. Brooks into the middle now for Self, trying to settle the bouncing puck. Lundy didn't have his stick. He actually had one of the Kings' sticks and went and dropped it because it was the wrong hand. Barrett near point now for Webster. He'll shoot off a stick and wide of the goal. Ends up along the far side boards. Brett Foe will play it out to center. Webster, Barrett return feed for Webster nearing the midway point of this first period. Lundy gets wide on Jack Long towards the near side. Stops up near point Webster. One-timer went well wide and ends up in the far corner. Self jabs it back to the far point. Barrett fakes. Now he shoots it. Stopped by Krall on the far side. Good work here on the forecheck by Cowichan, and they dig it free again. Lundy, though, tied up by Finley, and it's played up the far side boards towards Foe. Foe 1-on-2, stops up just inside the Cowichan zone and plays it in deep. Webster in behind his net, fished out by Foe. Far side for Lundy. Plays it off the glass and out towards center, forcing Garrett back into his own zone. Near side Pennington, return feed for Garrett. Gets caught up with the broken stick laying on the ice in the far side, and the Kings will fire it back into the Cowichan zone. Now here's Brett Rollison with speed and room. Moves in, tried to shoot, and he's tied up well from behind by Luke Wilson. Kings maintain possession. Pennington with a shot, blocked by McIntyre, and it goes up and into the netting and out of play with 10:19 remaining first period. The Kings had the first 5 shots of the game. They all came on that 4-minute power play, but since then, Cowichan's had 4 straight shots. And a good block there by Dan McIntyre to deflect it out of play from the near side point. It's McKay with Schmunk and Badal. We're probably going to see a lot of Ethan Schmunk, one of the top centers on this Kings team. facing off against Cote, and Schmunk will be waved out of the circle. So it'll be Dawson McKay who scored the opening goal of game one to take it for Powell River, and he ties up on it. Collected in the near corner by Badal. Badal walking around the back of the goal, tied up by Chorney in the near side corner. Badal still trying to get free. Chorney still all over him. And then it's rung around by the Caps towards the line. It gets past Kern. Gauthier trying to fight him off, and Kern tied him up just long enough that he could get some support. Far side, Wozni in his own zone for the Kings as we cross over the midway point of the first period. Chorney pinches at center. It's taken away now by Lynn and dumped in deep. Lynn tied up by Wozni, back of the goal. Gauthier with a hard hit on Kern. Near side, Ethan Schmunk takes over. He's pinned up against the boards, and the Caps take it away. Trying to jab it down the near side. Now Ferguson fires a long shot well wide of the goals. It rings to the far side, but all drops it back for Kern in behind the net. Kern reversed it for Wozni. He's pinched on by Gauthier, who finishes a check. Now it's collected once again by Schmunk. Trying again to break out on the near side. Plays it off the glass and out to center, where Ferguson batted it out of midair, and the Caps will take over. Ferguson far side for Lynn, who tips it back into the Kings zone. Forechecking fresh off the bench is Zach Brooks. He ties up with Finley. Krogfoss helps out. Plays it towards the near half boards, but Cowichan takes over. 9 minutes remain first period. Played towards the point. Cage Newens battling with Dawson McKay as it's kept alive by Brooks. Near side point for Webster. Long shot. Stick save by Krull. Newens making his BCHL debut tonight for the Caps. Plays for the Oceanside Generals of the BCHL. Webster down the near side boards around the back of the goal. Webster far side opens up. He shoots and he put it over top of the net from right in front of the goal. Newens keeps it in at the near side point. Then he stands up. McKay on the check on the near side. Dug free by Lundy. Trying to walk off the corner board, still with it near side corner. Lundy opens up, he shoots it, hit a stick. Now Krogfoss near side battling with Newens. Taken down against the near side boards. Good shift here by Cowichan. Played towards the line, Webster keeps it in. Walks into the middle, far side point for Barrett. Holds it, doesn't shoot, now plays it in back of the goal for Newens. Newens in the near corner. Banks it back of the net for Brooks. Handoff now for Lundy in the far corner. Lundy, midpoint, Webster opens up, doesn't shoot. Webster walks towards the near side, fans on his shot. Lundy collects it at the near top circle, splits a couple of checks. Far point, Barrett curls, drags, he shoots, and it was blocked by Porchetta. Brooks in the far corner being tied up by Finley. Now taken over by Krogfoss, who will lift it all the way down the ice. It's out of the reach of Barrett, and this is going to be an icing call against the Kings, who have been out there for 20 minutes, it seems like, but they will get the benefit of the in-arena timeout with 7:50 remaining in the first period. Great pressure by that line for Cowichan of Brooks, Lundy, and Newens, and it's an offensive zone draw coming up when we come back. You're listening to Capitals Hockey on 89.7 Juice FM, presented by Discovery Honda. $7:50 remains first period here in Powell River. Caps with an offensive zone draw go with McIntyre, Wilson, and Krasa, but the Kings win the faceoff. Krasa steals it to the back of the goal, rings it towards the point. Boucher able to keep it in. Now he shoots, it's tipped wide of the goal by Wilson in front. Centering pass for Krasa, and he deflected it wide. Went off the heel of his stick. Now McKay towards center. Porchetta tips it back into the Cowichan zone. Fired up the far side for Krasa. The Kings do get a change in, and it was much needed. Got the benefit of the in-arena timeout there after icing it before we went to break. Long loses his helmet. He has to go change. Now sent towards the far point for Mike Giannakis. Near side point for Boucher. Long shot was blocked, and he just couldn't keep it onside as Moran had it bounce off his shin pad. Boucher knocked it down, but it just jumped out to neutral ice before he brought it back in. It was a great shift before we went to break with the unit of John Lundy, Zach Brooks, and Cage Newens. The AP in the lineup tonight for Cowichan with Will Arquette out of the lineup. Probably a good minute to a minute and a half of sustained pressure in the offensive zone. Kings couldn't get it out. Cote tips it back into the Powell River zone. Davis Pennington, the first one, back to it, and he will backhand it high in the air and over the glass on the near side, out of play. So the Kings won't be able to change now with 7:03 remaining first period. Still scoreless. Shots even at 5 apiece. The Kings had a 4-minute power play early on in this hockey game, could not take advantage of it. And Cowichan has pushed back with the last 5 shots on goal as the Kings haven't gotten one at even strength. Near side face-off, Miller against Cote. Cote wins it back to Boucher at the near point. He'll move in and shoot, and it hits something in front. Not sure if Kral stopped it. He didn't even see it. He just went down and tried to look big. Dumped back into the Cowichan zone. Borgiel rings it around near side for Boucher, lifting it high in the air out towards center for Gauthier. Poke check by Glazeman, and now Pennington takes over. Through the middle, it's Rowan Miller as the Kings work through a change, and then Miller's dump in bounces high in the air. Micro Giannakis knocked it down but couldn't clear it, and Cullen Ferguson has in behind the Cowichan net. Rung around towards the far side. Abgral trying to work it away from Micro Giannakis, who swings through the middle for Gauthier. Gauthier near side will work his way towards center, stop up just inside the Kings line, and then spin around and dump it in. Crawl far side for Wozni. Up towards center. Abgral tips it in the middle. Leduc got tied up. Chorney near side for Brooks. Brooks out there now with Self and Lundy as it's dumped into the far corner of the Kings zone. Long being tied up. Checked by Self, who digs it free, but Abgral brought in the double team and took it away from him. Now it's worked out towards center. Could be a 2-on-1 for the Kings. Here's Leduc with Abgral. He centers. Stopped by Borgiel. Loose puck on the side. They score. Devin Leduc with his second goal of the series, and against the sway of momentum, the Kings open the scoring. It was a 2-on-1 as the Caps got caught at center ice. Leduc centering pass to the near side for Abgral was broken up very well by the back-checking, diving Cowichan defender. Puck rolled across the line, and Ferguson was down in the crease, couldn't get a stick on it, and Leduc, who made that initial feed, is there to put it into a wide-open net after Borgiel slid out of it on the near side. Luke Wilson down on the ice after taking a high stick right off the face-off, but no call. Kern looks through the middle. It's tipped back into the Cowichan zone. Barrett rings it around far side, knocked down by Vidal. Building's alive now as the Kings have opened the scoring here in Game 3. Dan McIntyre, there's a penalty coming up now against the Kings as it's flipped out towards center, touched up by Wozni, and Cowichan will go to the power play. It is going to be Krogfoss that will go off. It's a holding the stick penalty, and Cowichan will go to the man advantage just after surrendering the opening goal. We'll get the full scoring play to you here in a second. But the Caps, who are 1 for 6 on the power play in the series, will get a chance here at the man advantage. Far side face-off, rather near side face-off coming up in the Kings zone. Cowichan will go with McIntyre, Krasa, Wilson, Gauthier, and Micro Giannakis. Kings go with Miller and Rollison up front, Long and Garrett on the back end. It's Leduc, his second of the playoffs from Abgral and Long as Cowichan wins the draw. Far side, Micro Giannakis keeps it alive, but his play down the boards partially broken up, batted towards the line. Great keep by Wilson. McIntyre in front got tied up. Now Garrett can't clear, and it's poked out to center by Rollison. Here he comes 2-on-2. Rollison trying to get wide far side, shoots a sharp angle shot that's sticked away by Borgiel, and then Rollison digs it back free, splits a couple of checks, and continues to pressure on it, moving outside of the Cowichan zone. Great work here by Brett Rollison, who dumps it back in deep. Fans applaud him for that single-handedly killing about 20 seconds off the Cowichan power play. Cowichan breaks out near side. The pass goes under the stick of Gauthier. Leduc with another opportunity to clear, fanned on it. McIntyre keeps it alive, moves in, curls and drags, and a midsection save by Kral. Good opportunity there for McIntyre. after the fan clearer by Leduc, and he spun towards his backhand, which may have been the more open play, but you trust yourself a lot more to forehand it off the glass there, and it almost cost the Kings. So 1-0 Powell River. Devin Leduc with his second goal of the playoffs comes from Michael Abgral and Jack Long at 14:08. Cowichan working on the man advantage here. Primo Self near side of the top. Midpoint Boucher, one-timer, and it just went wide. Might have hit post as well. Fired to the line, great keep by Boucher. Far side up top for Lynn. Lynn, midpoint Boucher, he'll shoot again. This time it finds the bar again, and it's out to neutral ice. Tyrell Boucher hits a post on a slap shot and a crossbar on a wrist shot as he comes oh so close twice to tying the game. Draw comes out to neutral ice after no Kings touched it. It was straight bar and out. But Cowichan with some encouraging pressure on the power play, and still 53 seconds remaining in the man advantage. Boucher slaps it in. Crawl can't stop it. It ends up in the near corners. Brooks ties up with his man. Cowichan comes away with it. Self across the ice for Lynn. Midpoint Boucher. He'll shoot again, and this time it's a midsection save by Crawl. Cowichan doing a great job of getting their defenseman at the top. Tyrell Boucher with shooting looks, with movement between Primo Self and Brady Lynn, who are the high guy on the near side and the far side, and Boucher stationed in the middle. Now go back to the McIntyre, Krasa, Wilson, Gauthier, Micro Giannakis unit. Rolison back out there to take the face-off for the Kings. Both Krasa and Garrett asked to back up. And off the face-off, the Caps win it. Played towards the far point. Micro Giannakis keeps it in. Near side up top. Gauthier with a shot, blocked by Moran. Near side top circle, they battle. Krasa comes away with it. Walks into the middle. Far side for Wilson. Wilson with it, far half-board side of the goal. Tap back in front, and it was fanned on by McIntyre, who ties up with Long in the corner. Caps win the puck battle. Wilson, midpoint, Micro Giannakis, 15 seconds to go in the power play. Wilson moves in and shoots. It goes off a stick and wide. Gauthier digs it free. Far side half-boards Wilson. Wilson moves in again, trying to go back door. It was broken up by Moran. Gauthier keeps it alive. Near side up top, midpoint Gauthier. He'll shoot. It's off a body and just over top of the goal. Garrett will swat it off a stick and out of play. Face-off will be coming, or staying inside the Kings zone. They won't be allowed to change. 3:20 remains in the first period, but the Kings are able to kill off the power play. 2 posts on that man advantage, both off of sticks of Tyrell Boucher. Shots 8-7 Capitals, but they trail 1-0 on Devin Leduc's second of the series at 14:08. Lundy, Brooks, and Self the unit for Cowichan to face off on the far side of the Kings zone. Tyler Kuntz hollering from the Kings bench, trying to get Garrett to line up against Brooks. Cowichan wins the draw, and it's a long shot sticked away by Crawl. Batted up towards the far side. Rolison takes over 2-on-2 with Ethan Schmunk. Rolison dumped it in far side, knocked down by Micro Giannakis, who plays it out to a cutting Self. Poke check by Glazeman, far side now for Micro Giannakis. Micro Giannakis towards center, shoots it in and takes a hit from Schmunk, but he put a little too much height on it, and it found the netting in behind the Kings goal. 2:56 remains first period. We'll step aside for a second. You're listening to Capitals Hockey on 89.7 Juice FM, presented by Discovery Honda. Rowan Miller near side corner in his own zone, flips it towards center, knocked down by Ferguson, touched up by Brooks. Could have been a hand pass, but play's going to continue. Chorney through the middle now for John Lundy, cuts through a check, now works his way into the Kings zone. He gets tripped up, but play's going to continue, and Glazeman's going to work it the other way. Could be a 3-on-2. Rather now peeling away to the bench is Miller. Glazeman shoots, and it's stopped by Borgiel, ends up in behind the net. John Lundy takes over in the far corner. Lundy trying to clear, got tied up on his backhand. Abgral there, Leduc, and now Abgral comes away with it. Walks down the far boards, around the back of the goal, towards the near side corner. Ferguson sticking with him. Near side, Leduc trying to spin and shoot. It was broken up, and now Chorney will shoot that one up and out of play. It went straight over everything, and so Cowichan won't be able to change as he fired it into the crowd on the far side under pressure. 1:59 remains, first period. Kings leading 1-0. Leduc with his second of the playoffs here in Game 3 of the Island Division semifinals. Cowichan leading the series 2-0 after winning Game 1 and 2 on home ice by scores of 6-3 and 7-6 in overtime. Far side face-off. Moran comes away with it. He's got an opportunity to walk towards the goal, and he's poke checked by Borgil. Backhanded out to center by Self, and this is going to roll end over end and not have enough for icing. It looked like the linesman was maybe going to give the Kings a call there as he tracked it all the way to the goal line, but Long got there just in time. Kral drops his stick on the dump in, and now he's playing without one as Long works his way out towards the far side now for Finley. Bank pass near side, gets to Moran at center. 90 seconds remain here, first period, as Moran dumps it in. Now down low in the corner for the Kings. It's controlled, centered in front. Wozni tried to toe drag, and he lost it in his skates. Boucher near side ties up along the boards. Now works it in behind the net, backhands it away from Miller towards his partner in Mike Giannakis. Towards center, it's off the skates of Wilson, and the Kings take back over. Glazeman trying to work it into the Cowichan zone, spins and centers. Wozni for the point, shoots, and he put it wide. Looking low glove. Captain a little bit of trouble here as Glazeman all over Cote. Now it's dug free by Glazeman, trying to center, and he took a hit. Thrown through the middle and shot just wide by Krogfoss as Mike Giannakis backhanded it right through the slot, and Krogfoss had a great opportunity there. 45 seconds remain, first period. Kings pressing as Glazeman's shot ends up in the far corner. Mike Giannakis knocks his man off the skates. Now Rolison stop, rebounds loose in front. Now a chance for Glazeman on the back end. He doesn't shoot. Glazeman trying to center, broken up, touched at the side of the goal by Cowichan, and the Kings are going to go to the power play. It's an interference penalty against Mike Giannakis, and again, that just looks like a battle in which one guy is stronger than the other as the puck bounced into the air and both guys engaged with one another. Didn't seem to be a hit or a throw down to the ice, just two guys engaging, getting ready to battle. But a Kings player goes down to the ice. And now the Kings will go to their third power play of the first period. Kings win the draw far side, long towards the point. Cote getting interfered with as he tried to track it down towards the point, couldn't get there. And now the Kings have it along the near side, half boards in the Cowichan zone. Schmunk, midpoint for Long. Walking into the middle, opens up, doesn't shoot. Rolison far side, across the ice. Moran at the near side of the puck, go between his legs and out to neutral ice. He'll swing it back towards Long with 8 seconds remaining in the period. Time for one more chance. Moran tied up with Gauthier. Centering pass in front for Glazeman, poked away. Moran opens up, he doesn't have time to shoot. As now some more pushing and shoving between Gauthier or Moran. Gauthier made the play and the hit along the near side. And then Moran wrapped him up, held his stick, didn't allow him to get back into the play. And those two have words as the period expires. But it'll be a 1-0 Kings lead as we move towards the second period. Devin Leduc with the game's lone goal as Mike Vandekamp now having some words with the officials. Leduc with his second of the playoffs at 14:08. Michael Abgral and Jack Long with the assists on the play, and the Kings have a 1-0 lead. They'll also start the second period on the power play for 1 minute and 31 seconds. Welcome back inside Powell River's Hap Parker Arena for the start of the second period here in Game 3 of the Island Division semifinals. I'm Justice Doucette. The Kings leading the game 1-0. The Capitals leading the series 2-0. Devin Leduc with the goal late in the first period, his second of the series after he scored a power play goal in the third period of Game 2. The Kings will start the period on the power play for 1 minute and 31 seconds with Dimitri Microgiannakis in the box having taken an interference penalty. And the Kings working on their third man advantage. Their first ones came back-to-back in the looks of a 4-minute double minor. Cowichan starts Cote and Gauthier up front with Boucher and Webster. Kings go with Glazeman, Rollison, Schmunk, Long, and Moran. Second period underway. Cowichan wins the draw, and Boucher will shoot it down the ice, and that one is going to end up in the Cowichan players bench, and that's a huge break for the Kings because it's now an offensive zone face-off with no time taken off the clock and what should have been a clear all the way down the ice and 15 to 20 seconds taken off the clock. Schmunk will take the draw once again against Cote. Shots 10-9 in favor of the Kings, who lead 1-0. Cowichan wins the draw. Boucher back of the net, pinned by Moran. Kings throw numbers into the pile and 3-on-2 in the battle, trying to dig it free. It's rung up the wall by Webster, but cut off by Schmunk. Now Moran, back of the goal. It's Glazeman along the near side. Glazeman far side up top. Moran swings it back towards the point. Long keeps it in. Long down the far side, plays it in the air. Glazeman gloves it down to the side of the goal. Glazeman, near side up top for Rollison. Walks down into the corner. Glazeman again back of the net. Centers in front for Schmunk. He got tied up. Now midpoint, long slap shot. Went wide off his stick. Cote trying to clear. It's kept alive by Moran. Webster swings it into the near corner for Boucher, who fires it right through the middle and all the way down the ice. And it took a weird bounce right as it got towards Derek Kral, who, good for the Kings, was being very careful with it and not casual because he saw it spinning end over end, and it jumped about a foot off the ice on the last bounce right at the top of the blue paint. Jack Long with speed back into the Cowichan zone. 20 seconds remain in the power play. He's poke checked by Ferguson. Sends it up the wall, but all keeps it in. Now shuffled in behind the net. Lundy cues it towards the near side. Ferguson got tripped up behind the play, and now the Caps will attack in what could be a 2-on-1. McIntyre near side works it into the Kings zone. He shoots a midsection save from Kral. Pennington grabs the rebound. Here come the Kings 3-on-2. Pennington right through the middle. Abgral near side. He moves in. He shoots. He scores! Boy, did that ever look offside, crossing over the Cowichan blue line. McIntyre, who was the trailer, had his hand up. Pennington made the pass and then skated in well before Abgral on the near side. We'll get a replay in arena here. Pennington going right through the middle. Sure looked like he crossed early, and the Capitals bench is not at all impressed with it. They've really gotten the short end of the stick in this game. So the Kings now lead 2-0 on the goal on the near side by Abgral. And the Capitals bench, understandably, not too pleased about it. A blown call at the far side turns into a goal in the Cowichan net, and the Kings lead 2-0. It's Abgral first in the playoffs, as a chance in front was blocked, and then Moran got tied up and lost his footing as he skated into Cote. Pinching to keep it alive on the far side is Clark Webster. Back of the net, Pennington had to go off a skate, and it bounces to Krogfoss. Near side, it's Badal. Will get you caught up on the scoring play at the next stoppage in play. Badal works it into the Cowichan zone, fires a long shot over top of the goal, and it bounces all the way back down into the Powell River end. PJ Garrett retreating back in the far corner of his own end to pick it up. Retreats in behind the net. Powell River leading 2-0 on the latest goal from Michael Abgral as the Kings tip it back into the Cowichan zone. In behind the net, Barrett picks it up in the near corner. Banks it to his partner in Clark Webster. Webster fires it up the ice, tipped in by Brooks, and when I say tipped in, it's tipped up and into the crowd on the far side with a little bit less than 2:30 gone in the second period. So a 2-0 Powell River lead. Michael Abgral at 1:33 of that second period, with the assists on the play coming from Davis Pennington and Jack Long. So that's a couple assists in the game for Long now, both of them being secondary. Kings did not score again, contrary to popular belief, with the goal horn guy willing to use all the air possible. Played out towards center. Rowan Miller back into his own zone. Drops it off on the far side for Kern. Cote had it bounce over his stick. Schmunk keeps it alive, looks through the middle, out of the reach of Wozni. Hustling after it, Brooks along the near side, looking to play it back in deep. Cowichan controls itself from a sharp angle, put it off the side of the goal, or maybe even the post from a sharp angle. Now Brooks opens up, he shoots, a shoulder save by Kral. Another opportunity was blocked as it's banked back to the point. Boucher across the ice for Micro Giannakis, sends it off the end boards and in behind the net. Wozni in the far corner, lost it towards Brooks. Brooks cycling, looking for Lundy, cuts towards the middle, he shoots, and a kick save by Kral. Swung back towards the point, long shot, sticked away by Kral again after Boucher let it go. Good zone time here from Cowichan. Micro Giannakis down the near side boards, near corner, trying to center. Self got tied up, but he fought off the check. Now Primo Self in the middle. Micro Giannakis had it bounce over his stick. Could be a 2-on-1 here for Powell River. Glazeman, he's got Schmunk with him, but Glazeman pushed it a little bit too far out in front of themselves and then had to control it in the near corner. Self will fire it off the far side boards, gloved down and kept alive by Long, who plays it back in deep. Micro Giannakis reversed it, but it's onto the stick of Rollison. Batted away from him. Howie looking through the middle. Self hands off for Micro Giannakis. 4 minutes gone here, second period. Micro Giannakis trying to get wide, steered it in front, hits a skate, and then gets pushed wide. Now some pushing and shoving, and there's a penalty coming up against somebody, and it is going to be Kral, I believe. And so Cowichan's going to go to the power play here. I would think it is going to be Kral, so somebody on the ice will have to go serve it. And Jack Long is going over. I'm not sure if he thinks it's against him. Micro Giannakis drove towards the net. He lost his footing after he got pulled down by Finley. And then Long and Micro Giannakis were right in front of the net. And Kral gave him a shot up high. So Cowichan will get their second opportunity on the power play here. And somebody needs to go serve the penalty on the Powell River side, but the officials let Powell River go change, so we'll see if they send somebody from the ice. It's going to be Dylan Finley, who I'm 99% sure wasn't on the ice, but Cowichan will get a chance of the man advantage here nonetheless. Far side face-off, and the Capitals win the opening draw, but Long fought Wilson off of it and fires it all the way down the ice. So Kral, 2 minutes for roughing against the Kings netminder to send Cowichan to the man advantage. Gauthier drops it off for Wilson, who's got some speed across the ice. Here's Matt Krasa. Drop feed from McIntyre. Shoots in front, and Wilson tipped it over top of the net. Knocked down by Garrett, but he couldn't clear. Micro Giannakis near point across the ice for Gauthier. He shoots, and it's tipped over the net by Krasa, and it's sent up and out of play, and then Long gives Wilson a slash after the play, and that's going to draw some pushing and shoving. And I think there's a penalty coming up here, and it's against Cowichan, which is another horrid call. Long gave Wilson a cross-check and a slash in the back of the leg, so he turns around and answers. But of course, that's the one that gets called. It's going to be 4-on-4 for 1 minute and 31 seconds. Cowichan really getting the short end of the stick from the guys wearing black and white in this game. Because apparently after the whistle, you can cross-check and slash, but as soon as you defend yourself, no, that's against the rules. So the draw coming back into the near side of the Cowichan zone, playing 4-on-4 for the next minute and 31 seconds. It's Rollison and Abgral up front for the Kings, Krasa and Self for the Caps. Draws one towards the near side half boards. Cowichan takes over. Ferguson spins off a check. Now Krasa put it into the skates of Ferguson, and Abgral is going to steal it along the far side. Looking to get away, it's now Rollison trying to center it in front, and Primo Self cut it off for Cowichan. Playing 4-on-4 with 5 minutes to go here in the second period. Ferguson far side over center. He'll skate it over the Kings line. Steers in the middle for Krasa. Poked it just wide of the goal. Lost his footing as Rollison lost his stick, and it ended up in the skates of the Cowichan forward. Poked with one hand out towards center. Garrett ties up with Ferguson. Garrett wins the battle and dumps it into the Cowichan zone. Austin Chorney going back, tied up by Abgral. Chorney will drop it off on the near side for Krasa. Krasa will go for a skate here with the Kings changing. Could be a 3-on-2. Here's near side. Primo self-flips it back in front, and Krasa couldn't get a stick on it. Krasa in the near corner banks it back towards the point. Krogfoss trying to clear. Webster kept it alive. Near corner, Krasa towards the point. Webster steps down the near boards around the back of the goal. Being wrapped up by Krogfoss. Webster into the far corner. Spins away and plays it into the near corner, which is vacant. And now the Kings will take over. Pennington near side, stolen by Self. Self moves in, he shoots, and a shoulder save by Kral. Far side, Long got tied up by McIntyre, and that's the second time in this game that Jack Long has lost his helmet. Barrett near side, Lynn shoots, and he put it just wide. What an opportunity. Webster keeps it in at the far point. His long shot is blocked. Miller cues it towards center. Barrett backing up, back on the ice is Finley. So it's a power play here for the Kings. Webster near side for McIntyre, 2-on-2. McIntyre across the ice, and it's broken up by Pennington, who then goes crashing into his own net and knocks the net off its pegs with 18 seconds left in the penalty against Wilson. Back and forth play here in the second period. Cowichan getting some opportunities, but not the ones that we saw high quality in the first and second game, which is probably to be expected, with especially the way that Mike Vandekamp and likely the way that Tyler Kuntz talked about the opening two games and being a little bit too wide open for both of their comfort levels. Kind of figured you would see a low-scoring game here in Game 3, which makes that blown offside call turning into a goal that much bigger here early in the second period. Tie up on the face-off. Cote plays it back towards center, where it's dumped in by Boucher. Just 10 seconds left in the penalty against Wilson, then we'll be back to 5-on-5. Wozni fires it up the ice. Schmunk had it knocked down. Gauthier will bat it back down the ice. And Wilson steps back on with 13 and change to go here in the second period. Played towards center. Glazman passed it out of the reach of his oncoming player in Leduc. Now Cote swings it back into his own zone. Micro Giannakis brings it around far side. Leduc cut it off. He'll shoot, but it's blocked by Boucher, and then it hits a banner inside the Cowichan defensive zone to stop play with exactly 7 minutes gone here in the second period. If I say first period within the next little while at all, I apologize. The clock says period number 1, but not exactly the case. Shots on goal are 15-11 for Cowichan, so the Kings have scored on their only shot of this period, which should have been blown down about 3 seconds prior for an offside call. Austin Chorney in behind his own net for Cowichan, up the near side for Self. Flips it across the ice for Cullen Ferguson. Ferguson over the Powell River line, shoots it in deep. Takes a bump from Pennington. Finley over skated in the near corner. Now it's dug free by the Caps. Lundy trying to swing it towards the goal off the turnover, and it's covered up by Kral. With some pushing and shoving between Brooks and Finley along the near side. Cowichan's done a good job of carrying the play here in the second period. Started with a penalty kill early on in the frame after it had carried over from the first, and have played well. Shots on goal reading 7-1 in favor of Cowichan in this second period, but the Kings have extended their lead. Near side faceoff has Lundy against Rolison. Near side, Cowichan won the draw, but Lundy poked it out of the reach of Chorney, and now Abgral works his way into the Cowichan zone. Abgral trying to drop it off. Rollison's side of the net got tied up and stripped by Lundy. Lundy cutting towards the middle with some speed. Now steps towards the near side, but he got picked from behind by Abgral. Far side, it's played towards center. Here's Rollison into the Cowichan zone. Rollison near corner, trying to drop it off. Got tied up in the near corner. It's played up the wall where Krasa takes over. Krasa fighting off the check from Abgral, plays it to the near side for Brooks. Brooks trying to spin, centers it for Lundy. Lundy moves in, he shoots, it was blocked in front by a lying down Davis Pennington. As Lundy was trying to find Krasa at the back door, Kings fire it down the ice, and it is not enough for icing as Cullen Ferguson goes back. Reverses it up the far boards. Austin Chorney will take off and go for a skate. Works it over the center ice line, then pokes it with one hand into the Kings zone. He and Pennington battle, and Miller comes away with it. Miller into the near corner for Wozni, banks it back in behind the net. Wilson tying up with Pennington. McIntyre forechecking as well, but it's poked out towards neutral ice for Glazman. Glazman stood up by Boucher as he tried to dump it in, and now Micro Giannakis takes over. Nearing the midway point of this second period, 2-0 Powell River. Boucher through the middle. McIntyre puts it on a tee for Krasa. Cross the ice now for Wilson. Wilson trying to center it in front, and Krasa got stick lifted by Wozni. Kings come away with it near side. Hard hit by McIntyre on Glazeman, and it's schmunk into the Cowichan zone. Centering pass was broken up, and Boucher takes over. Fired up the far side boards for Krasa. Sidesteps the hit from Wozni. Played it into the middle, and it's just out of the reach of McIntyre as Kern knocked it down and shot it down the ice. Nearing the midway point of this second period, Kings trying to squeak through a change. McIntyre with his dump in had it blocked, and then he played it back into his own zone out of the reach of Boucher, who had to quickly retreat back. Goche across the line near his side for Lynn. Lynn shoots, and it's fought off by Kral, who didn't even try closing his glove to make that save. He just punched it away. Here comes Leduc one-on-one, trying to cut towards the middle. He put it too far out in front of himself, and Borgil sticked it away. Near side corner battle, 10.5 minutes to go here in the first period. Cowichan comes away with it, but can't clear. Leduc alone in front. He shoots, a stop by Borgil, and Full looking for the rebound in front. Got tied up by Micro Giannakis, and those two now push and shove in front of the Cowichan goal. It's been a good period for Cowichan, but they just haven't been able to finish on chances. Even though they've controlled it pretty well here in the second, and not only have they not gotten closer, they actually surrendered a goal to fall further behind. It'll be a far side face-off in the Cowichan zone. Abgral, who has the second period goal for the Kings, out there with Rollison and Porchetta, Finley and Long as well. Barrett spins off a check. It's batted towards the midpoint. Brooks to the near side for Self, but a hat trick in game two. Dumps it in from center. Long going back, forechecked by Lundy. Lundy trying to steal it from him, and there's a penalty coming up against the Capitals. It's a hooking call against John Lundy, and the Kings will go back to the power play. But all and Brooks having words in between the two benches. But the Kings will go to their fourth power play of this hockey game, and a chance to once again extend the lead as John Lundy will go off for hooking. So the Caps go back to the Valley Carpet, one penalty kill. Rollison will take the face-off against Cote, fourth power play of the game here for the Kings, with 10:07 remaining second period. So Lundy for hooking is the call as Boucher rings it around and then stands up Glazeman, who tried to make a hit as the Caps defender shot it down the ice. Kral will leave it for Long with 9:50 remaining here second period. Drops it off for Rollison. Rollison near side for Glazeman, back into the Cowichan zone. Micro Giannakis back of the goal, pinned by Rollison, trying to be dug free by Krogfoss. Glazeman there as well, and the Kings control it. Glazeman out of the near side corner, banks it back towards the point for Long. Long along the near side, dumps it back in deep. Micro Giannakis knocked off the play without the puck. Play would continue, of course. Boucher rings it towards the far side. Glazeman going after it. Takes a hit from Micro Giannakis, trying to walk around to the back of the goal. Hands it off now for Ethan Schmunk. Schmunk, side of the goal for Glazeman, now chases it in behind it. Gets knocked off his skates by Boucher. Boucher still all over Glazeman, hands it off for Schmunk. Schmunk trying to center, he put it off the stick of Borgil, and it's all the way down the ice. Kral settles it down, leaves it now for Long with 50 seconds to go in this Kings power play. Capitals penalty kill brought to you by our friends at Valley Carpet 1. Davis Pennington, far side out of his own zone, cuts back towards the middle, finds some space. Near side, it's Badal. Rings it around across the ice, far side. Ferguson stops up and then continues the ring around all the way back down into the Powell River zone with now 30 seconds remaining on the Kings man advantage. 8:30 remains second period. Kings leading 2-0, working on the power play. Pennington skates it into the Cowichan zone, dumps it towards the goal, and Borgil reacted a little late on it, but he kept it out anyways. Webster rings it around, it doesn't get out. Wozni keeps it alive, but all far corners. Spinning away from Ferguson, back of the goal now for Leduc. Near side point for Pennington. In the middle, Wozni, one-timer, stopped by Borgil. Far side, but all down low for Leduc. Overskated the puck, Ferguson trying to check him, but all walks around the back of the goal towards the near side. Lundy back on the ice. We're back to 5-on-5 with 8 minutes to go in the second. Now Badal got checked, and Lynn will play it all the way down the ice. Doesn't have enough for icing. And Wozni collects in behind the Kings goals. We're back to 5-on-5. Kings 0 for 4 on the power play, as trying to deflect it in was Badal, but he put it into the seats and out of play. It was 7:43 remaining in the second. We'll step aside. Kings leading 2-0. You're listening to Capitals Hockey on 89.7 Juice FM, presented by Discovery Honda. Welcome back inside the Hap Parker Arena. I'm Justice Doucette. Capitals trailing the Kings by a 2-0 score. Michael Abgrall with a goal earlier in this period that, if we were talking about a league higher, may have been called back for offside, but we're not. So the Kings lead at 2-0. Back to 5-on-5, fired down the ice by Cowichan. Icing waved off. Crawling behind his own net, leaves it for Finley. He got tied up. Ends up in the near side for Rowan Miller. Tried to drop it off. Sent out to center, and now the Kings attack 1-on-2. It's Rowan Miller, far side. He's got Foe going to the goal. Drop pass for Long. He shoots, he scores! Long from the far side joins the rush. He gets the drop feed, and from the top of the circle, he rips it into the top corner, and the Kings lead 3-0. Not sure if Bourguil saw it or if maybe there was traffic in front, but walking over the line was Rowan Miller. Turned into a bit of a 3-on-2. Drop pass came to Long, who was open, and jumping out of the way in the screen in front was Brett Foe, so I don't think that Bourguil saw it. Long has his first of the playoffs, his third point of the night, and it's 3-0 Kings. Near side, Garrett will pick it up at center. He'll shoot it in deep. Kings captain has his first of the series, and the Kings, although they've been outshot in the second period, have extended their lead by 2. Crawl in behind his own net, rings it around far side, cut off by Cote. Now collected by Pennington. He got knocked off the puck by Cote in the corner. Newen's trying to take it away, got thrown down to the ice. Gauthier far side, top circle, spins and shoots, it was blocked. Cote back towards the near point. It was not strong enough for Mike Giannakis, and Abgrall takes a hard hit as he dumps it in for Mike Giannakis. Definite candidate for the Rods Auto Glass and Upholstery's hit of the game there from Dimitri Giannakis. Garrett retreating into his own zone, banks it up the boards, knocked down by Cote, but then fired back into the Capitals' end of the ice. Mike Giannakis fires it across the ice for Johnny Howie. Howie with speed, long-range shot, sticked away by Crawl. Near side, Wang takes over, walks towards the blue line, dumps it in deep. Cowichan almost got nailed with too many men there, I believe. Fergus inside of the goal, trying to center for Howie. It was out of his reach. Chorney pinches in and shoots, and it goes through the crease. Ferguson far point, trying to chop it towards the goal. It goes off a stick and up and out of play with 5:59 remaining second period. That latest Powell Rivers scoring play. Jack Long with the goal. Rest of it hasn't been updated yet, but we will get that to you when it is posted. But Cowichan, for the first time in this series, finds themselves trailing by 3. They were down by 2 in game 1 before scoring 5 straight goals to win. The Kings erased a 3-goal Cowichan lead in game 2 to force overtime that Cowichan would go on to win. Lundy will face off on the far side against Krogfoss. And Krogfoss will be waved out. Now Miller in to take it. Lundy goes forward on the draw, centers in front, and Wang had a great opportunity. And couldn't tell if the pass got to him or not, but if it did, he would have had a tap in, and Kral able to cover. But Lundy going forward on that draw created almost a 2-on-1 down low. Again, a far side draw. Krogfoss wins it back for the Kings as Howie pins Kern in the far side corner. 6 minutes to go, second period. Cowichan trailing 3-0 here in game 3. Miller plays it back into the Cowichan zone. Chorney collects it back in behind his own net, and it's shot up the near side boards, out of the reach of Wang. Wozni knocks it down, sidesteps a couple of checks, and almost had a chance for numbers there before it was knocked down by Chorney and flipped out to neutral ice. Far side, Ferguson pinches as it's knocked away from Miller. Wang fired back into his own zone, broken up by Bedell. Rung up the far side boards for Johnny Howie. Howie cutting back towards the middle, finds center, near side for Ferguson. Stepping into the Kings zone, Ferguson around the back of the goal, angled into the boards, hard by Finley. Now stolen at the side of the goal by Lundy, he just couldn't get it free. Krasa in the middle, far corner for Wilson, trying to curl and drag, he shoots, it's off a stick, high up into the air, bouncing puck, McIntyre denied right on the doorstep. Ferguson from the far point with a shot, it hit a skate. Wilson near side, he shoots and he put it well wide, and it bounces out to neutral ice. Cowichan getting the chances, just can't finish on them so far tonight. Krasa trying to dump it in, had it broken up, and it's back into the Cowichan zone, forcing Chorney back into the corner. 4:30 remains second period. Powell River scored once in the first. They've scored twice here in the second to lead 3-0. Wilson across the ice. McIntyre picks it up on the sideboards bounce. Now steers towards the goal, and it was fought off by Kral off his goal stick, popping directly up into the air where he covers up and stops play. Full scoring play, Jack Long at 12:42 from Miller and Foe. So it reads 22 from 21 and 20 if you're keeping score at home. And the Kings have a 3-0 lead with 3 even strength goals so far in the game. The Kings had scored just 2 even strength goals in this series coming into this one. Rollison knocked off the puck by Lynn. They battle near side half boards. Glazeman trying to clear. Lynn keeps it alive. Gauthier hustling after it in behind the Kings goal. Trying to fight off Pennington. Far point, long one-timer wide of the goal by Boucher. Near side, Glazeman takes a hit from Lynn as they battle along the near side corner. Bouncing puck ends up in front. It's sticked away by Kral. Now far side corner battle. Cote, far point, Boucher. Near side point, Mike Roginakis. He shoots, and that one looks like it bounced off the ice and rose back up into the midsection of Kral, who hangs on to it for the whistle. 21 saves so far for Derek Kral, who allowed 6 goals on 40 shots in game 1, then didn't finish the second period of game 2, allowing 5 goals on 24 shots, but he's bounced back in a big way, and that's exactly what you hope for out of a 20-year-old netminder if you're Tyler Coombs. Lundy will take the draw against Krogfoss, near side in the Kings zone. Glazeman comes onto the ice to finish off the unit of Krogfoss, Schmunk, and Glazeman. And we get a whistle, and Cowichan centerman Lundy is going to be waved out. Self will take it, tied up, and Wozni takes over, working his way in front of his own goal. Fires it up the far side board. Schmunk tips it back into the Cowichan end. Glazeman forechecking on Webster, who rings it around near side. Tipped out towards neutral ice. Brooks tying up with Krogfoss. Brooks took it away. Steps into the Kings zone on the near side, looking for the trailer. Self trying to shoot. He got tied up by Wozni, trying to work it free. Tipped in front. One-timer sent just wide by Brooks. What an opportunity right on the doorstep, but he just missed the goal. Far side, it's played down the ice by the Kings, and this will be an icing call against Powell Rivers. It got away from Schmunk and Barrett, with a face-off coming back into the Powell River zone with 3:19 left in the second. It'll be a far side face-off in the Kings zone. McIntyre, Krasa, and Wilson. Krogfoss to take the draw, both centermen on their strong sides, as left-handed shots for McIntyre and right-handed for Krogfoss on the far side. And off the tie-up, it is the Kings that will control it, but not for long, as it Bounces right in on goal towards Kral, who will cover up. Kings will make a change to bring the matchup with Moran, Badal, and Miller out there. That's one of the bigger things about playing on home ice is you get the last change. So, of course, you get the matchups that you want every time there's a stoppage in play. And the centerman gets to put his stick down twice. Caps win the draw far side. Webster moves in and shoots. It goes off a stick and into the glove of Kral. Looked like he just waved at it after that one hit a stick and would have gone well over top of the net. He just sort of reached up with his left hand and snagged it. Didn't react at all, so a lot of people thought that the puck missed the net. It'll be a face-off once again on the far side of the Kings zone. Cowichan trailing 3-0 with 3:10 to go second period. Kings with the goals from Leduc, Abgral, and Long. Far side point, Webster shoots it, hits a stick, and ends up in the near side half boards. Luke Wilson fighting off the check from Finley. Krogfoss check to the back of the goal, but he rings it around towards the far side. Miller backhanding it out towards neutral ice. Barrett corrals the bouncing puck, steering back through the middle for McIntyre. Far side Webster. Webster's pass hit a stick in the backside of McIntyre. Miller trying to dump it in. Webster put it off his own skate, and here comes Badal the other way. Badal trying to work his way in, and Webster does a great job of keeping him towards the outside. McIntyre lifts it up the far boards for Wilson. Wilson looking through the middle, put it into the skates of Jack Long. Now Webster gloves it down, and he would have had an opportunity to step in, but Krasa was caught offside, and so play will stop. 22 shots in the game so far for Cowichan to 17 for Powell River, but Caps just haven't been generating the chances that we saw in games 1 and 2. Tough building to play in here in Powell River, and of course with the tougher matchup as well. And lots of times having your top guys against the top defensemen or defensive forward units every single time they're on the ice, and that was one of the advantages that Cowichan had in games 1 and 2. Far side, Pennington moves it towards center. Ferguson knocked down the dump in. Gauthier tips it towards the zone, and then Lynn had an opportunity to skate with some room. And a huge hit at center. Cullen Ferguson steps into Devin Leduc. There's a hand pass called against the Kings. Leduc turning up ice on the far side, just shy of center. And Ferguson saw him with his head down, took advantage of it, and finished a heavy check on the Kings forward, who's not putting a ton of weight on his left leg as he makes his way back to the Powell River bench. So there's your Rods Auto Glass and Upholstery's hit of the game, and we'll keep an eye on Devin Leduc as well. Far side face-off on the Kings side of center. Cowichan wins it. Chorney will shoot it in, but he shoots it into the Cowichan bench after it deflected off the stick, and the draw will come just in front of the Cowichan players' bench. In the second intermission, we will hear from Primo Self, who had a hat trick in Game 2 on home ice, his first BCHL hat trick. He opened the scoring 3 minutes into the hockey game and then scored a couple of goals a couple minutes apart in the second period, the final one being a deflected shot in front of the goal. Cote's drive is tipped wide. Now Mike Regianakis with a shot, didn't get through, and Wozni shoots it into the corner boards, and Gauthier ran over Wozni in front of the goal. Now a long shot stopped, rebound, Gauthier denied right on the doorstep. Wozni having some troubles inside the Powell River zone. He got absolutely steamrolled by Olivier Gauthier, and Wozni punches the ice. He's in some obvious discomfort in the Kings zone, but I don't think the Powell River trainer is on the bench after Leduc took that awkward hit. So the Kings bench is hollering for their trainer, who comes running out of the tunnel, and now will go check on Wozni, who's holding his right leg down in the Powell River zone with now 1:51 remaining in the second period. And as he gets looked on, we'll take a break. You're listening to Capitals Hockey on 89.7 Juice FM, presented by Discovery Honda. A good applause here in Powell River as Wozni helped back to the Powell River dressing room. Looked like he twisted his left leg weirdly and didn't put any weight on it going off the ice. There'll be a far side face-off in the Powell River zone now with 1:51 remaining here, second period. Cote wins the draw. Lynn tried to move back to the point. Micro Giannakis did a great job of keeping it in, batting it out of the air for about 3 feet off the ice. Near side corner, Gauthier digs it free. Micro Giannakis at the point, walks down the wall, he shoots, and a glove saved by Kral, but he couldn't catch it, he just fought it off. Gauthier at the near side boards, Micro Giannakis again, stops up, he shoots, and it goes over top of the net. If anyone got a stick on that, it probably would have been a high stick. With now 90 seconds remaining, second period, centering pass for Lynn, jabbed it towards the goal, and it was blocked. Now Cote far corner battling with Jack Long. Those two go down along the boards. Lynn far side half boards back towards the point. Boucher shoots in a midsection save by Kral. He started leaning to his left like he wasn't really sure maybe if that one was going to squeak through him, but he covers up and hangs on with 1:12 left in the second period. 27 saves for Kral as Cowichan's outshot Powell River 27-17 in the game and 18-7 here in the second, but surrendered the only 2 goals of the frame and the only 3, rather the 2 goals of the period and 3 goals of the game. McIntyre wins the circle far side. Boucher trying to play it down low. Good stick by Moran, who knocked it down, but then he fired it up and into the seats on the far side. And the faceoff will remain inside the Kings zone with now 1:05 remaining second period. All 8 games in the BCHL, all 8 series, I should say, are playing tonight. A couple of teams with the opportunity to finish off their series in both Salmon Arm and Penticton, leading 3-0 heading into tonight. Trail as well, leading 3-0. We'll look at all of that and all the series in general in the second intermission as well. Played towards the near side, it goes off the stick of Michael Abgral and into the area in behind the Kings bench. Does some pushing and shoving between Garrett and Krasa, just in between the 2 benches. 57 seconds remain second period. Powell River with goals from Devin Leduc, Michael Abgral, and Jack Long, the latter 2 in this second period. But the Kings, depending on what happens with a couple of players, could be short bodies here for the final period of this one, as Ben Wozni and Devin Leduc both had to get some assistance from the trainer. I don't see either of them on the Kings bench just in front of us, although it is a difficult view to see all the way down to the end. Wilson on the backhand steers it back into the Kings zone. Knocked down by Pennington, forecheck by Krasa, who takes him into the end wall. Krasa now tying up with Long. Wilson cut off the ring around. Micro Giannakis curls and drags in a midsection save by Kral, but all just drilled McIntyre from behind away from the play. And then McIntyre turned around and gave Badal a pretty good slash. Shot came in from the point from Micro Giannakis, not even close to McIntyre in the high slot, and he got drilled from behind into the ice. Far side face-off coming up in the Kings zone. Power plays 4-2 in favor of Powell River, and it's hard to fathom how we've seen numbers like that in this series. Cowichan almost doubling the Kings in shots on goal, and you would think zone time 28-17. In game 2, the power plays were 7-3 in favor of the Kings, and in game 1, they were 4-3 in favor of Powell River. McIntyre looking for a call, but with the way the officiating's gone in this game, that's probably not going to happen. They battle in the face-off circle far side. Gauthier's swinging shot bounced wide as he tried to one-time the bouncing puck. Up the near side boards, Lynn converges with Badal. Now poked into the middle, Jack Long, who has the latest Kings goal, will flip it out to center. Now 20 seconds remaining second period as the bouncing puck is poked away by Cote and dumped back in by Krogfoss. Micro Giannakis first to it. Sidesteps the hit from Krogfoss in the near corner. Fires it up the boards. It's tipped by Garrett back into his own zone with now 5 seconds remaining in the second period. Up the near side boards. Abgral will lift it into the air, and somehow he gets through all the banners and rafters without hitting anything, and that will do it for the second period. So the Kings score the only 2 goals of the frame. Welcome back inside Powell River's Hap Parker Arena. I'm Justice Doucette. Cowichan trailing 3-0 heading to the third period here with a first period goal from Devin Leduc. Second period markers from Michael Abgral and Jack Long. We start this third period at 5-on-5. Derek Kral's been the story of this one defensively for the Kings, stopping 28 out of 17. And no, the Kings have not scored. It's the guy just using the goal horn whenever he pleases. It's because Mike Vandekamp is having a conversation at the Cowichan bench with the officials. And it looks like the official told the horn guy to stop it because he's trying to have a conversation. Center ice face-off, Cowichan trailing 3-0. And on tie-up on the draw, Moran dumps it in deep, near side. Boucher fires it across the ice for Brady Lynn, trying to step aside and get around Garrett, who ties him up in the corner. Centering pass hit the side of the goal. Pennington finished into the end boards by Gauthier. Cycles it for Cote, trying to walk back in front, got hooked up, and Cowichan's going to get an early power play here in the third. It's going to be a hooking penalty against Davis Pennington, and Cowichan 19 seconds into the third will get their third power play of the game as the cycle work down low on the near side between Cote and Gauthier opens up a lane for Cote to step in front of the net. Pennington has no choice but to reach and pull on him from behind. Cowichan 0 for 2 on the man advantage, hit 2 posts on their first power play. Near side, they'll take the draw and win it back as well. Boucher, midpoint, who hit both of those posts in about a 10-second sequence, dumps it in down low. Cote, Brooks, Kings trying to dig it free in behind the Powell River net. Brooks in there as well. Kings have 3 guys on the puck. Cowichan's just got 2. Now it's dug free by Powell River. Long trying to clear. Brooks all over him. He fanned on it, but a second chance for Miller, and he'll shoot it right through the middle and all the way down the ice. It's Boucher, Lynn, Self, Brooks, and Cote, the power play unit for the Capitals. Rollison, Moran, Garrett, and Kern, the unit for the Kings, as Lynn's dump in hits a stick and bounces right in on goal towards Kral, who will cover up with everybody converging towards the Kings net. Inside the first minute of this third period, Cowichan trailing 3-0. They came from behind when they were trailing 3-1 in game 1 and went on to win that game 6-3. But teams on both sides have had a hard time holding leads in this series because the Caps led 6-3 in game 2, and you'd think maybe would comfortably take that one to the finish, but that was not the case. The Kings would score 3 goals, including Glazeman's tying goal with 12 seconds left to force overtime, where Cowichan would go on to win it. Wilson knocked off his skates by P.J. Garrett as it's fired all the way back down by Powell River. Halfway through this Cowichan power play, Mike Giannakis up the near side for Olivier Gauthier. Little stutter step, and he gets around Moran, fires it across the ice now for McIntyre. Midpoint, Mike Giannakis opens up, he shoots, and it's into the midsection of Kral. It sounded like maybe Krasa got a stick on that, but Kral all over it with no traffic in front. On the way towards the blue paint, he saw it the whole way. Makes his 30th stop of the game. It's Krasa, McIntyre, Wilson, Gauthier, and Mike Giannakis. Rollison will take the face-off for the Kings against Krasa, who won it off the midsection of Wilson, and then Rowan Miller taps it out towards center as Krasa just won it right off the shin pads of his far side winger in Wilson, and it bounced right back to Miller. Now Mike Giannakis breaking out of his own zone with 40 seconds remaining in this Cowichan power play. The pass hits a skate, and then Powell River will force it back to center. Krasa across the ice, turned it over. Here come the Kings, could be a 2-on-2. Rollison shoots, and he put it over top of the net. Brooks near side taps it up the wall for McIntyre. 2-on-2, he pushes with Krasa. McIntyre dumps it in. Krasa engages in back of the goal. First onto it is Miller, trying to clear. He lost the puck. Far side though, Rollison with a chance to clear, couldn't get it out. Mike Giannakis, far side up top, Wilson. Mike Giannakis, one-timer off the stick of Rollison and up and out of play. Wilson went quickly, one-touch passing with Mike Giannakis, but it was maybe too quickly that the lane didn't open up. 9 seconds remain in this Cowichan power play. A little less than 18 minutes to go here in the third as the Kings look to get into this series and take a win on their home ice after the Caps won 2 in their building on Friday and Saturday. Controlled by Moran off the draw and fired all the way down the ice. Cowichan 0 for 3 on the power play. And stepping out is now Davis Pennington, back to 5-on-5. Up the near side, Cowichan couldn't clear. Moran keeps it in. Now near side pinching is Badal to keep it alive, and it's sent in behind the Capitals' goal. Borgiel hands it off for Chorney, who scored the late first period goal, I should say, in game 2. Dumped in, Kral rings it around far side, knocked down by Cote at the far half board, steps in behind the goal, working towards the near side now. He's got Brooks right beside him, and Cote stops up, looking to cycle as he's tied up against the boards. Kings dig it free, and now it's worked out towards center by Ethan Schmunk. Couple things of note for Powell River is that we haven't seen either Devin Leduc nor Ben Wasney in this third period. Both of them took checks and went down weird and have not returned since. Up the near side board, Schmunk tips it back into the Cowichan zone. He's on the right side of center, so icing is waved off. Up the near side, the pass out of the reach of Boucher. Foe trying to keep it alive. Boucher with him and chops it across the ice as Lundy chases after it. Finley bats it up the boards for Michael Abgral. Abgral stops up, poke check by Mike Giannakis, and now Cowichan trying to counter with numbers. Lundy looking to get wide, muscled towards the end ball. Great defensive positioning there from Finley. Trying to fight off the forecheck now of Primo Self as it's chipped in behind the net. Jack Long up the near side for Brett Foe towards center. Goes across the ice, and his pass was out of the reach of Rolison, who might have had some room had he received that. Rung up the far side, Self tips in the middle now for John Lundy. Lundy stop and go over the Kings line, gets tied up and pulled down. There's a penalty coming up against the Kings. Mike Giannakis shoots, and he sent it just wide. Kept into the near point by Howie. He'll dump it down low. It's touched up by Glazeman, and Cowichan's going to get another power play here as Lundy made a beautiful move and cut back towards the middle. And Garrett, who made the defensive play a little bit earlier, pulled him down. So Cowichan with back-to-back power plays here early on in the third period. Couldn't get much going on their first. Gets another chance here, though. We talked about special teams being a huge battle in this series, and so far it's been Powell River that has clearly won that battle. And Cowichan came in with the number 5 penalty kill and power play in the BCHL during the regular season. The Kings were number 15 in both, but those stats don't matter now clearly because Powell River has turned it up a notch here in the postseason. Kings win the draw. They battle now near side corner. McIntyre with Krogfoss. Caps had it for a moment. Now quickly double teamed. It's sent up towards the near point for Gauthier. Far side for Boucher. Boucher near side up top. Gauthier hard pass across the ice. McIntyre shoots and a shoulder save by Kral. Rebound corralled by the Kings. And Nolan Krogfoss sends it down the ice. Boucher in behind his own net. That's a good bit. The Kings mascot in front of me wearing goalie gear. E-Bug for hire. That is a good bit. Fired across the ice by Cowichan. McIntyre looks across the ice. It's broken up out of midair by Rowan Miller, and Boucher retreats into his own zone. Near side for a swinging McIntyre. Steps over the Powell River line. Puck rolling end over end as he hands it off. Wilson down low. McIntyre towards the goal. Just couldn't get a stick free. Now tapped into the near corner. McIntyre battles with Jack Long. Krasa walks off the corner boards. Drops it back. Boucher. Near side. Gauthier couldn't find the puck. It was stuck in his skates, and Rolison blocked it. Now side of the goal. Miller comes away with it. Fights off a stick from Krasa. Flips it towards the far side for Rolison. He'll bat it in deep with now just 45 seconds remaining in the Cowichan power play. The Caps had the look they were looking for there with Gauthier at the top near side, but he just couldn't settle the puck. It was trapped in his skates. Moran steals it from Brooks, and it's fired all the way back down as the Caps power play stalling here in the third period. And just 30 seconds remain in that, and 14 and change left here in the third period. Far side Lynn, rifle pass across the ice here. Zach Brooks working his way. Centering pass in front, tapped just wide on the doorstep by Cote. Now played towards the near point. Mike Giannakis kept it alive, but he put it right onto the stick of Riley Moran, and the Kings will clear it. Borgiel through the middle. Lynn leaves it for Cote. Up the far side boards. Mike Giannakis hands it off for Brooks 2-on-2 with Cote. Brooks towards the middle. Near side, he opens up. He shoots, and he put it just wide. Far side, Brooks trying to spin away from Long. Centers it in front. Self one-timer, and it was shouldered away by Kral. Rebound bounces out to neutral ice. Lynn fighting off the stick from Garrett. Fired it deep. Knocked down by Schmunk. Here comes Schmunk. He curls and he drags, and he put it over top of the net. Back to 5-on-5 as taken over by McKay at the far point. Bank down low, looking for Glazman in the near corner. Glazman up the near side boards, trying to cycle it down low, being tied up there with McIntyre. Glazman centers for McKay, and it was just out of his reach. And Self will tip it back towards center. Pennington back into his own end with 13 minutes left in the third. Cowichan trailing 3-0. They've had 2 power plays here in the third period, but have come up empty. Clark Webster, hard pass across the ice for Wang. Wang moves in, he shoots, it's off a stick and then sticked away by Krall. Wang lays a check on Long at the far side, now trying to dig it free. McIntyre as it's played up the far boards, and Rowan Miller will skate into it. He dumps it in from well shy of center, but icing is waved off because Barrett didn't go back looking for the puck. Now Miller up the near side boards in the Cowichan zone. Midpoint long one-timer, and he hammered it well over top of the goal. Foe on the near side trying to get away from Barrett. Back of the goal now for Abgral. Abgral looking to center. Miller got tied up, but he gets the puck at the near side half boards. Cycles in down low for Brett Foe. Deposited back towards the near corner where McIntyre takes over and banks it off the glass and back out to neutral ice. Cowichan trying to squeeze a change in as we near the midway point of the third period. Barrett backing up into his own zone to the near side for Webster. Looking through the middle, and icing is waved off as Howie got tied up off the far boards. A long one-timer shot from Lynn, swallowed up by Krall as he just took that pass that bounced off the end boards as basically a feed into his wheelhouse, and his one-timer drive was stopped by Krall, his 34th save. So Cowichan with 6 shots here in the third period compared to 1 for Powell River, but Derek Krall, after getting pulled in the last game, has bounced back with a great game on the Kings' goal. Chorney's long shot was blocked, and they tapped it in the corner past Badal. Gauthier walking up the far side, had to spin away from Finley and lost the puck. Rollison with the support, cuts towards the far side, steers it softly into the Cowichan zone. Chorney tying up with him, and it's batted up the wall towards Brady Lynn. Lynn trying to shuffle it up the boards. Gauthier had to stop and wait for it to catch up to him. Then he fires towards the near side where Ferguson will dump it in. Moran tried to finish a late hit on Ferguson, who came up with his stick, but no call on either side. Far side, Badal trying to fight off. Gauthier works it towards center and into the Cowichan zone. He's poke checked by Cote. Pennington keeps it alive. Now Cote lost it in the middle, and Porchetta almost had an opportunity, but it was poke checked by Cote, and Lynn circles back into his own zone as Cowichan changes. Luke Wilson up the far boards. Ferguson tried to tip it in. It went right onto the stick of Garrett, and then it now bounces up in the air. Glazman trying to knock it down with one hand. It gets caught in the skates of Krasa, and Glazman will dump it back into the Cowichan zone. Ferguson far side for Chorney. Cage Nguyen's far side, lifts it up the boards, put it just out of the reach of Wilson, and now Porchetta takes over. He takes a hit from Nguyen's. And near side, Boucher. Steps around one check, fires it towards the far side for Nguyen's. Takes a hit from Garrett, drops it off for Boucher, who shoots, and it may have been going wide, but he's able to make the save and cover up. With now 10:38 remaining in the third period, and we talked last weekend about Cowichan having a hard time scoring goals down the stretch into the season. We kind of figured that was what it was going to be like in the playoffs, in lots of low-scoring games, but they erupted for 13 goals between games 1 and 2 combined, but that has dried up here in Powell River as Cowichan's gone 35 shots without a goal. Kings win the face-off. Pennington in behind his own net. Up the far side, Brett Foe over the Cowichan line, 3-on-2. Near side Schmunk back in front, stopped by Borgil on the redirection from Miller right on the doorstep on a beautifully executed 3-on-2. Foe near side up top, tried to drop it off, and he turned it over. Here's Lundy, could be a partial break. He shoots right into the midsection of Krall, who makes the save. Now some pushing and shoving between Lundy and Long, and Pennington comes in and wraps him up from behind. As Foe got too fancy at the offensive zone blue line, tried to spin off a check and lost it, and Lundy getting pressured from behind there by Long just stepped into a slap shot as soon as he caught up to it at about the top of the circle, and Krall made the save. It's a near side draw in the Powell River zone with 10:14 to go. The Kings leading 3-0, but getting doubled in shots here by the Caps. Off the draw, Kern uses the glass to get it to the line, but not out. Ferguson with a great keep as he bats it down in behind the net. Garrett up the far side towards Abgral. Poke towards the point, kept in by Chorney. Long shot tipped wide in front by McIntyre. Kern near side leaves it for Garrett, up the wall for McKay. McKay will dump it into the Cowichan zone. Probably going to be a lot of dump and chase down the stretch here for Powell River, not trying to do anything too fancy. Cowichan can't clear. Abgral knocked it away and then places it back in the near side corner of the Cowichan zone with 9.5 minutes to go. Chorney up the far side for Self. He'll shoot it in. Brooks, being called as offside, has to back off on it as Long picks it up in behind his own net. Stretch feed far side for Badal into the Cowichan zone. Driving wide, spins off of Boucher, waits for some support, then deposits in back of the goal for Moran. Moran worked on by McIntyre, who throws him into the far side boards. Moran back to the point. Long shot by Finley. Hit something and ended up in the far corner. Another chance for Finley. That one was tipped towards the goal. Moran a chance and he fired it over top of the net after the bouncing puck just landed right on his stick in the high slot. Rung around towards the near point. Long keeps it in. In behind the net, it bounced away from Krogfoss, who engages with Micro Giannakis, and those two both go hard into the wall, which was exactly the call that Cowichan got nailed on earlier, with two guys just engaging towards the wall. That time Krogfoss tried to shoulder Micro Giannakis but got buried. In behind the net, Long works his way out in front of it, looking through the middle. Glazeman drops off and then gets hammered by Micro Giannakis. But there's a penalty coming up against Micro Giannakis, who drilled Glazeman right in front of his own bench. Glazeman tried to go behind the back. It's a 2-minute interference call. The hit came a little bit late, I guess. So the Kings will get a power play when we come back with a little more than 8 minutes left in the third. You're listening to Capitals Hockey on 89.7 Juice FM, presented by Discovery Honda. Welcome back inside Powell River's Hap Parker Arena. Kings on the power play here. A 2-minute interference call against Dimitri Micro Giannakis. Far point now for Rollison. Rollison walks down the boards, trying to center, puts it in front, it's tipped wide, and then Gauthier knocked it down and fired it down the ice. 8 minutes remain here in the third. The Caps will spend the next 90 seconds shorthanded, and with 36 saves so far from Derek Krall, Cowichan's yet to find an answer for him after they had him pulled in game 2. Far side, Lundy stole it, banked it off a skate, couldn't clear. McIntyre trying to split a couple of guys, couldn't get it out either. Moran shoots and a shoulder save by Borgil. Webster trying to clear, had it knocked down, but Lundy skates into it. Cowichan now could be a 3-on-2 shorthanded. Lundy trying to fight off Long, who did a great job of keeping to the outside. Now Lundy swings back into the zone, takes a slash, and then gets cross-checked down after he loses the puck, and play continues. Rollison retreats in behind his own net with 7:20 left in the third. 50 seconds to go in this Capitals penalty kill. Brought to you by Valley Carpet One. Davis Pennington gets around Gauthier, steps back into the Cowichan zone. Far side for McKay. Skate the stick, couldn't handle it. And then he plays it back towards the far point. Finley, midpoint, Pennington. Back towards the far corner for McKay. Knocked into the boards by Ferguson. Abgral is there as well. McKay comes out of it with the puck. Now Abgral, who scored a goal in the second period for the Kings, his first of the playoffs. Abgral near side, worked over by Ferguson. Drops it back towards the point across the ice. It goes Pennington, Finley in front. Abgrall's one-timer, and he fanned on it. Ferguson trying to clear. He pokes it with one hand out to neutral ice. But all with one more chance here on this man advantage. Now Finley far side, trying to steer it in front. It hit off a skate, and it bounces to Lundy as Micro Giannakis steps back onto the ice. Lundy across the ice, the pass out of the reach of Micro Giannakis, and it's an icing call against the Capitals with 6:25 to go in the third. So the Caps back to 5-on-5, but have 3 defensemen on the ice here with Micro Giannakis, Boucher, and Webster, along with Lundy and Brooks. Cote had come onto the ice. And now Micro Giannakis is going to be allowed to change, so I'm not exactly sure what happens there. Now Micro Giannakis discussing with the official. I would have thought that he wouldn't be allowed to change, but if they allowed Cote to jump onto the ice. And so Boucher will come off now. Interesting, never seen that before. Maybe it's because he was in the penalty box when it was shot down the ice. Not exactly sure of that ruling. Caps win the draw. Brooks towards far side for Lundy. They enter over the line. Lundy cuts towards the middle. He shoots, and he just put it wide. Had some room past the glove side of Kral, who reacted late. 6 minutes to go. Cowichan trailing 3-0. Bouncing puck just inside the line. Finds Brooks. He moves in. He shoots, and he put it off a stick and over top of the net. Lundy got taken down in front of the net. Porchetta lost his stick, and the long shot went wide. Now it's chopped off a stick and up and out of play. With exactly 6 minutes to go in the third, Lundy looking for something as he took a stick up high from Porchetta in front of the goal. Shot 36-20 in favor of the Capitals. And it looks like Lundy might actually be leaking as well. And Cowichan can't buy a call right now. It looks like Lundy's bleeding from his nose. But the officials, who do the exact same thing as they've done all night, just turn a blind eye. Now a long shot stop, rebounds loose in front, and it's covered up by Kral with some pushing and shoving on the doorstep. And no, again, the Kings didn't score. It's just a guy on the far side blowing the horn whenever he pleases to try and get the officials to not talk to the Capitals even less than they do. Near side, McIntyre will take the face-off against Schmunk. But some discussions being had between Cote and the official in the far corner. .554 remains in the third period. Cote ties up on the draw, midpoint for Boucher, walking towards the middle. Now spinning shot off a stick is up and out of play, as it was a battle between Schmunk and Cote right out in front. McIntyre jumps back on. Cote will come off as he rejoins his normal line. Also Barrett and Webster onto the ice for the Caps. Far side tie up on the draw. Barrett back towards Krasa. He'll shoot, tipped in front. Kral makes the save and then hangs on with some more pushing and shoving in front as Kern now engages with Krasa. Kings have done a good job of boxing out in front of their own net. Cowichan's had those shots that have been redirected, but when the rebounds have been created, they haven't been able to get to them, and Kral's been able to find them before Cowichan sticks to. Far side face-off in the Cowichan, the Powell River zone rather. McIntyre against Rolison. Caps win the draw again. Far side Chorney with a long shot stop. Rebounds in front, and Wilson being tied up couldn't get there. Far side long. Banks it off the glass and back out to center down the ice. Chorney couldn't clear. Rolison moves in. Badal one-timer. Great save by Borgil. Badal knocks it down, collects his own rebound into the near corner. Badal into the middle, opens up and shoots, and that one goes off a stick and up and out of play. What a stop there by Zach Borgil, robbing Jacob Badal, who was looking for his second goal of the series as Rolison set him up on that 2-on-1 with a saucer pass from far to near side. Well executed, couldn't have done anything better, but it was crazy how fast Borgil was able to get over and cover that ground, and looked like Badal actually did kind of shoot it back towards the far side of the net, which allowed Borgil to cover the area faster. 5:16 remains in the third period. 3-0 Kings here in Game 3 of the Island Division semifinals. Glazeman has it back of the goal, tried to center, broken up by Cote, and Micro Giannakis takes over. Micro Giannakis up the near side, cuts towards the middle to get away from Krogfoss, and then shoots it in. Takes a hit from Glazeman as those two push and shove a little bit. 5 minutes remaining here in the third period. 3-0 Kings. Powell River trying to break out along the near side. It comes to Garrett, who looks far side for Glazeman. Over center, dumps it in back towards the near corner. Boucher, the first one onto it. Drops it off up the near side boards for Olivier Gauthier. Gauthier over center, will shoot it in deep from shy of center. First one to it is Garrett, reversing now for Long. Long takes a hard hit from Lynn as he plays it out towards neutral ice. It bounced away from Howie, and the Kings will fire it back in. Micro Giannakis far side, pinned by Abgral in the corner. He's able to escape the pin. Now Badal comes with the secondary help and takes it away. Badal trying to get down the far side boards, tied up by McIntyre, who swings it back towards the point. Wang with a hard hit on the far side. There's a penalty coming up against Cowichan. I'm not exactly sure what it would be for. Interference. Abgral had the puck when he got hit. The ring around came up the far side, and it was right at Abgral, and Wang absolutely drilled him. I'm not exactly sure where the interference call comes from out of all of that. But the Kings will get their sixth power play with now 4:07 to go. I mean, generally, the rule is if a guy has the puck, you can't really interfere with him, and Abgral had the puck on that ring around. So 4:07 remains here in the third period, and we will take a timeout. And it's Powell River that is taking the timeout here, with Tyler Kuntz wanting to draw something up. I don't believe goal differential matters in the playoffs, but that's his call. We'll step aside. You're listening to Capitals Hockey on 89.7 Juice FM, presented by Discovery Honda. Far side face off in the Cowichan zone as the Kings go to the power play with 4:07 left here in the third. Wang off for interference as Webster pokes it towards the blue line. Now skates it to 2-on-1, shorthanded. He's got Lundy with him. Webster moves in, he shoots, it was blocked. Another opportunity, and Crawl made the save. Play continues, and the Kings go back up the ice the other way. Could be a 3-on-2. Glazeman far side, near side, Moran, and he couldn't settle the bouncing puck. Moran, midpoint long, one-timer hits somebody in front, and Glazeman was right on top of Borgil. Near side corner, half boards point, now far side for Rolison. Back into the middle for Long, and a puck tipped off a stick and bounces out towards center. As Long battles with McIntyre, it's feathered into the middle for Rolison. Rolison far side, Glazeman loads up and shoots, and he shot a knuckle puck wide of the goal. Near side, Badal keeps it in, dumps it in deep. Ferguson rings it up the near side, Badal keeps it alive with 1:10 left in the third. Centering pass, Schmunk looking to tip it down low, got it back, and then spun and fired it wide. Far side point for Rolison. 1 minute to go in the power play, 3 minutes to go in the third. Centering pass near side, Badal spins away in the corner. Back of the goal now for Glazeman. Glazeman near side corner, back towards the near side up top for Badal. Badal dropped it down low. Glazeman goes behind the back, and it was broken up by Ferguson. Far side, Gauthier an opportunity to clear, had it broken up, and then he ran into Webster. Here's a steal by Bedell. He moves in, he shoots, and a blocker saved by Borgil. Cowichan is way too casual there, and Borgil bailed him out. But all far side with 30 seconds to go in the power play. Cowichan hasn't gotten a change yet. They could really use one. Pennington at the near side point, looking back into the middle. Abgrall, far side up top, but all loads. He shoots, and a great block by Webster. And Ferguson will have an opportunity to clear here. Takes his time and fires it all the way down the ice. 2:20 remaining in the third. The Kings leading 3-0. As Pennington waits in behind his own net. Wang stands in the penalty box, ready to come back on. Pennington far side now for Finley, over center, will shoot it in. Bounces towards the near side corner for Porchetta. Takes a hit from Boucher, back of the goal now Miller, walking out, opens up, he shoots it, hit Boucher in front of the goal, and that one got him in down low, and he's in a little bit of discomfort as it's sent out towards neutral ice. Mike Giannakis near side for Barrett, uses the near side boards, now Brooks. Across the ice, it bounces away from Self with inside 2 minutes left here in the third period. Mike Giannakis got tied up, Lundy spins towards the middle, now steps into the Kings zone and dumps it in deep at the end of his shift. Pennington in behind the net, far side, takes a hit from Brooks as it's dumped out towards center. Mike Giannakis works his way back to center, steps into the Powell River zone and stands up Pennington, who tries to make the check. 1:20 remains in the third as the Kings will dump it out towards center. Stepping back in is Brooks, into the middle for Self, tried to curl and drag, he couldn't get a shot away, gets it back and then got tied up again as Long takes him into the bend boards. Brooks ties up with Pennington. There's a penalty coming up against the Capitals. And now some more pushing and shoving at the back of the goal. It is I'm not even sure what that is. It's a 4-minute call against the Capitals once again. And Zach Brooks, I believe, is going to go off. Jack Long's headed over as well. But I have no idea. Now it's just Long going off. Brooks is being brought back into the middle. And so it'll be a Cowichan power play, actually, with 1:03 left in the third period. And it's a 4-minute penalty against Long. So Cowichan will get a power play here with 1:03 left. And it doesn't really matter that it's a 4-minute call because there's only 63 seconds left in the game. We'll pick up the announcement in arena. I'm not exactly sure what the signal was that the penalty was called. But Cowichan will get their 5th power play opportunity, and they would have to do something really magical here in 3 goals in 63 seconds. Of course, 2 of them could come on the power play, but Zach Borgil remains in the Cowichan goal. Gauthier near side, fires it across the ice for Wilson, and he fanned on his one-timer as it's rung around towards the far point. Mike Giannakis kept it in once, but not twice. Rolison getting away one-on-one. Rolison far side, he moves in, he shoots, and it's fought off by the glove of Borgil. Rolison makes a nice move to split a couple of checks, works his way in around the back of the goal and into the near side corner. Rolison has done a great job penalty killing in this game, and now getting an ovation from the crowd here in Powell River. He's knocked down, and Cowichan will skate it up the ice with 20 seconds to go. McIntyre far side to Wilson, and Cowichan is offside with exactly 20 seconds left. McIntyre still having words with the official on that offside call, because in the second period, the Kings had a goal that 100% should have been waved off as Pennington put himself offside as he fed it over to Abgrall. And then Abgrall shot and scored, which is a pretty big goal in a 3-0 game. Made it 2-0 early on in the second period at that point. Cote will take the draw. He ties up with Schmunk. It bounces in the air, and Schmunk flips it back towards the Cowichan zone. He's given another opportunity and banks it off the board. Boucher retreating into his own zone. Far side now for Wang. Wang fires it back through the middle. The Kings will fire it back down the ice, and Powell River's in the series with a 3-0 win on home ice.